and they say that too much pink energy is a bad idea.
Too much pink energy is dangerous.
Now, the Power Ranger comics are a great way to really get in depth and see the variety that is the Power Rangers universe. Some of its biggest stories and moments include an evil Tommy Oliver destroying the Power Rangers, a truly cosmic group of Power Rangers in space, as well as a spin-off Peace Conference trio team. But there are also like mini events sprinkled throughout the whole series. One of these would be Forever Black, kind of a spiritual sequel in a way to Forever Red, that being one of the biggest Power Ranger crossovers ever where they brought all the Red Rangers back. But how they did it in the comic was instead of teaming up with all the Black Rangers in the past, which is probably a good handful, there would be multiple versions of Zack and Adam's Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. But today we'll be looking at another type of Forever crossover, one that's a little bit more in line with Forever Red, and that is Forever Pink. It's not called Forever Pink, it's Mighty Morphin issue 22, but for us it's Forever Pink. Now, for those of you who don't read the comics that much, like myself, I read a one-off big issue here or there. Don't kill me in the comments. The Mighty Morphin story was one of two MMPR comic book series happening at the time, and this was essentially an alternate modern-day retelling of the events of the TV series, which by this issue would have been about season 2, with this timeline taking place after the events of the Shattered Grid crossover event. And it's also a sequel series to the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comic book line that started way back when. They had did this weird thing of splitting this series up into two, with the Mighty Morphin series covering the Earth heroes and the Power Rangers line covering the heroes in space like the Omega Rangers. But this issue 22 was part of a big Charge to 100 event, which ended in the combination of the two series. But with that context out of the way, let's jump right in and see what makes this one a Forever crossover. Before we move on though, have you been watching my videos too much and not subscribed? Hello, subscribe and notification bell to join the E-Squad today, the best squad ever. Maybe, I don't know how better than the Pink Ranger squad we are, but we can talk about that. E-Squad comment of the day, leave a funny comment down below, put the E-Squad in it, and you will be in the next video. I promise you that. We start in a now corrupted pocket dimension, quote unquote, where we see Tommy and Kimberly go against 5 classic Power Ranger villains. And they got to this point because in the previous issue, they were trying out the metallic armor, you know, the sparkly stuff from Mighty Morphin Season 3. But remember, since we're in the context of Season 2, they're not really supposed to get the metallic armor power yet. They're not really ready for that. I think they were still using the Dino coins too back then. The metallic was more of a ninja coin thing. So, the metallic armor was using too much power in this Morphin Grid pocket dimension that they had Billy make, and the Morphin Grid spawned some ghostly villains. But let me say though, this lineup is fire, a fire villain lineup. From left to right, we got Rancic, the sinister, charming villain of Power Rangers Time Force, who does not recognize these Rangers, of course. We got Void Queen from Power Rangers Dino Fury, another bitter, revengeful villain. We also got Trakina from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, a slimy bug girl from which all I remember was that weird Lost Galaxy Lightspeed Rescue team up. Oh man, I don't want to remember. She states here she doesn't deserve to be in a cocoon again. And trust me, we don't want to see that. Underrated villain coming up here with Dai Shi from Power Rangers Jungle Fury. A lion-themed villain like Hello, it's a classic, and he gets a liking for Tommy's gold. Boom, we got a big fight coming. But my favorite villain here is Mr. Throw up your hands, having fun in Japan. It's Sledge, Sledge, Sledge. I hope he doesn't find a bomb. Every time I know Sledge is about to show up in Power Rangers, it's about to be an explosion. It's a bomb. Also, I think you might want that metallic armor the Rangers got on, because, you know, he looks like those shiny Energems. Or a bomb. It's a bomb! So I'm done. Tommy and Kimberly quickly get beat up by the villains in multiple gruesome comic book panels, and Rancic got Tommy in a chokehold, in reference to Rancic's encounter with Alex, the original Time Force Red Ranger, and he killed him, right? He's dead. Tommy basically would blow up, and Kimberly would take him away. The OP villains don't stop her though, because of course, they love the hunt. And you know, it's like they say, the journey is better than the destination. I know they love fighting. This is when they would encounter the Pink Emissary, which is the first appearance of them in this comic book series. As previously, we would only have seen 3, red, blue, and yellow. but they mention that they are the one who monitors for threats like this. And here's a bonus fun fact for those in the know. The Pink Emissary was also a Pink Ranger called Alea, who was the first ever Pink Ranger as the Pink Squadron Ranger in her previous life. As when those Rangers sacrificed themselves, they were changed into emissaries. Alea would also return in other future comics as the Pink Emissary, even showing up as the Dino Thunder Pink Ranger.
What did he say?
That doesn't exist, but in the multiverse that is the comics, it sure can. Tommy and Kimberly would explain how they got there, which thanks to them using the metallic armor a little too early, and also Kimberly's fear for the future, the sinister, revengeful villains would show up. Now, what is Kimberly's fear for the future? Well, basically, Trini, who is an Omega Ranger now, by the way, in space, would come back to Earth and, in conversation with Kimberly, hint about stuff that would happen. She had recently gained some memory of the Shattered Grid comic event and would tell her some stuff that would happen. And that made Kimberly scared because if you read the comics, spoiler alert, skip 10 seconds, Tommy died in that. And, you know, I think Kimberly was also scared for her Power Ranger team to be replaced with others. The Pink Emissary would reveal that it was them who blocked her memory of the alternate universes and the events and stories from the past Morphin Grid events like Shattered Grid. But at their touch of Kimberly's temple, they would help Kimberly regain those memories in hopes that Kimberly would build a legacy of her own. So now stronger than before, no Zeo, she would come back to these villains unmorphed, and the villains are like, hey, we're gonna kill ya. And Kimberly said, and she called upon all the Pink Rangers of the future. That's right, we see all the Pink Rangers that go past Kimberly, and they all announce their iconic roll calls and morph into the Pink Ranger greatness that they are. If you do look at that panel though, there are some things to note. For one, there is no Zeo Pink Ranger here, as Kat, who was the Zeo Pink Ranger, would instead choose to don the pink turbo powers, while her replacement, Cassie, would be using the in-space Pink Ranger powers. Funny to say though, both Kendricks and Carone would both use the pink Lost Galaxy Ranger power. And besides that, all Pink Rangers are the same. We got Dana Mitchell's Lightspeed Pink Ranger, Jen Scott's Time Force Pink, Sidney Drew as the SPD Pink Ranger, Vito Roca as the Pink Mystic Ranger, Rose Ortiz is back as the Pink Overdrive Ranger, and we get the modern day 2010s Rangers like Mia Watanabe Samurai Pink, Emma Goodall's Mega Force Pink, no Super Mega Mode here by the way, Shelby Watkins Dino Charge Pink, Sarah Thompson as Ninja Steel Pink, and Amelia Jones as Dino Fury Pink, with the bonus appearance of Chloe Ashford as Hyperforce Pink. Hyperforce, if you don't know, is the Power Rangers RPG show that they made canon in the comics, and they made a spin-off comic of their own. I'm also in the comic as an evil guy. I don't have the same hair, I kind of have like an Avatar thing going on, but I'm in the comics. I'm technically a Ranger. Comic question of the day, real quick. Who is your favorite Pink Ranger of all time? Comment down below and leave a like to lock in your answer. 2,000 likes and I'll do more videos just like this one. My favorite answer? I would say Sid from SPD, but SPD is my favorite season. I'm gonna try to think of a different one. How about Mia from Samurai, huh? She cooks bad and everyone doesn't like it. I think that's funny.
Lousy cook!
What?
Oh my god!
Also, if you think about how Cosmic Fury is the last season of the OG Power Rangers universe, they really do got all the future Pink Rangers here. Unless you wanted to see Kimberly. Sorry, Meow Ranger fans, that's not happening today. With all the morph call, roll call done, it's time for the real battle to begin. Kat and Dana would help Shelby up to do a rider kick, not a rider kick, towards Sledge, while Daishi battles Pink Rangers for the first time. There was none in his season. Specifically, the Ninja Sarah and the Samurai Mia, and Rose, the Scientist. Vita, Emma, and Amelia would attack Void Queen, which Amelia being sassy as always. If only the comic book writers know how sassy Amelia would be as a Red Ranger. The little hip thing. Cassie with Kendricks and Carone go against Turkina, with a blaster squad going up with Kimberly, Jin, Sid, and Chloe, shooting down Rancic once and for all. All these Rangers would take down their respective villains, and we also get an appearance of the SPD SWAT mode and the Dino Fury Pink using the blazing battle armor. Now, I kind of like what we had going on over here. You know, we had the Mighty Morphin with the Time Force in the future and the Hyper Force going against Rancic. I love that. The in space power of the pink kind of crossover thing we got going here with the Drakena battle. The Void Queen here battle doesn't make sense. You know, we got Amelia and I guess Magic and Megaforce. Cool. Kat, Dana, Shelby. They're all pretty humanitarian going against Sledge. It's a Ninja Samurai Overdrive. What happened there? But Daishi. Love Daishi. Daishi's back. The villains would then disappear in smoke as Kimberly would give one last look at the Rangers, especially Time Force Pink Jen Scott, being excited to get to meet them sometime in the future. Billy would then manage to get Kim and Tommy out of the pocket dimension, stating that the metallic armor protected Tommy, so he'll be okay. Kim agrees to leave the development of the armor to Zordon and Alpha. Kimberly and Tommy would be outside talking about what she learned in the pocket dimension about herself, how she was too scared to lose and also confused about change and the future. But her seeing multiple Pink Rangers of the future showed her how much true joy can come out of the legacy of Power Rangers and oneself. And this brings up her own thoughts of her wanting to leave the team at some point too, knowing that the world will be okay with more Power Rangers, and she can live a life of her own. She wishes that Tommy could come with her and they do that journey together. Tommy denies this though, saying that he loves being a Power Ranger and imagines himself being there basically forever, especially after knowing how evil a Tommy can get without Power Rangers beside him. Kimberly would disagree with Tommy's worries, but they decide to live up in the moment and kiss each other. And in the final pages, the other teammates want to cheer up Kimberly by deciding a name for their Power Rangers team. Which is true. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, do they say they're the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? They're the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers!
But do they ever call themselves that?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers!
I don't remember. I know someone in the comments will tell me, but it wasn't common. Some names include Mystic Beast, Angel Grove, Thunder Dino, and others, but Kimberly just wants to get some juice. However, on the board, Alpha realizes how catchy Mighty Morphin can possibly sound. Overall, the Forever Pink little battle here we got was a great what if for the Power Rangers universe, especially as a love letter to Pink Rangers. It follows the creative and original ways the comics expand on the Power Rangers, as instead of rehashing Forever Red's plot, they found ways to include multiverse versions of heroes and now ghostly spirit versions of the Pink Rangers. It was nice to see, but why not include a line about how too much pink energy is dangerous?
Too much pink energy.
Come on.
It's dangerous.
No bomb jokes to Sledge either, what the f. This was a fun way to give the Pink Rangers some love too, as we know they usually get the short end of the stick. Heck, this video probably got less views than the other videos. Maybe. Kimberly also gets some great character development here, setting up a reason for her to leave the Power Rangers team to create her own future. And that dynamic with Tommy at the end showing their different outlooks was very interesting. But beyond Pink Power, it goes really deep into legacy. Forever Red had the new team up with the old, but this Forever Pink flips it by having the old team up with the new, and gives the old Pink Ranger a look into the future and how the best is yet to come. Yeah, there may not have been a lot of in-depth talks with these ghostly spirits or more throwaway lines and references. It was more of a symbolic thing more than anything, but it was still neat to see, especially when you bring back some fan favorite villains along the way too. And some great art though, by the way, throughout the whole issue, showing this banger of a fight in many ways. But that was Mighty Morphin issue 22, aka Forever Pink. Did you read this issue yet? What do you guys think? Shout out Pink Rangers. How would they do Forever Blue or Forever Yellow? Forever Blue, they gotta put Billy in it somehow. Forever Yellow? I have no clue. Forever Green would be cool. There's so many options. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, I'm also on Instagram. Don't forget to have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. Of course, and as always, stay out there, everybody.